Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Unknown Comics Podcast, episode 41.
We're getting up there.
We are getting up there in age.
I feel like we should have a midlife crisis.
I'm not going to say anything. Episode 41. And it's just me and Tanner because Chris and our occasional guest host, Darren, are...
He's a guest at this point.
He's a potential guest host. They are currently at Motor City Comic Con in Detroit, Michigan this weekend.
We're holding down the fort.
Yep, we're propping it up. What up? I'm Devine. Hey, guys, what you talking about tonight? Well, I'm glad you asked, because our discussion topic for later in the show, after we get done with news and all of our other ramblings, is what makes sci-fi and fantasy franchises appealing, good, interesting to us, and you, if you comment in chat, and then which sci-fi and fantasy franchises you would like expanded on, or continued, or made bigger, or whatever. So chew on that, and here in the latter part of the show, we will discuss. So there you go. That is what we have there. I'm going to put that in preview so I can read it. And so, what up, Slamdooski? Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great evening. We are as well. And for those of you not watching us live, watching us on YouTube, thank you or listening to us on your favorite podcast app. We thank you for that as well. So, getting into some sci-fi geeky news, or some geek news, we got, of course, I guess, planned for Halloween. Is it Halloween release?
No, it's January.
It's January, okay.
Yes.
But they're just going to go ahead and promote it during that. So we got the Scream, not 5.
It's
trailer.
just called Scream.
Just Scream, because we just do that now.
Yep, that's the thing.
If it's been long enough, you just recycle the name.
But it is still a sequel. It's not a reboot.
Or you pluralize it or put the.
Yeah.
That was like The Predator.
Yeah.
That was, you would get that a little bit. Now, this one is just Scream and then parentheses 2022.
Yeah.
I guess, and you'll have Scream parentheses 1998.
I don't remember.
I was in high school. All I know is I was in high school when it came out. 98? That sounds right. I think the first one came out in 98. Chat me. Correct me. I'm not going to look it up, but I think I'm close to right. 97, 98. But anyway.
So that trailer dropped, I think, yesterday.
Yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a very similar scene. Well, I take it back. It wasn't very similar. It was the opening scene again, the Drew Barrymore scene from the original movie, but done in present day.
Right. It was
with home automation and stuff, which I don't know, kind of made me a little bit nervous,
Yeah, I would never automate my door locks. That's just asking for trouble.
So we do have a smart lock, and it is automatable. Yay. Yeah, so that one kind of got me on edge, and it's from, I recognize the girl from stuff my daughters watched on, Disney Channel.
I recognized her. I didn't know who she is. It's got the original girl grown up, as well as the little sheriff deputy and the reporter.
Yeah. The David Arquette, Dewey.
And Courtney Cox was the reporter.
She was the reporter. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. And then Sydney was Neve Campbell's character, she's kind of been in all of it. I watched the first 2, and that was it. I never watched 3 or 4, I don't think.
I remember watching the first one.
Yeah.
I
liked the first one. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I think the appeal of it was lost after that, because I think 2 was just more of the same, and it just didn't really break the mold on a lot of stuff, right? But and plus, it had a lot of hot chicks in it,
right,
when I was a teenager.
There you go.
So that's, that sold the movie right there too,
it's
adolescent Brandon.
What made it different than all the other slashers is it addressed the horror tropes.
Oh, yeah.
And then broke the rule,
Yes. Yeah. And
you could have sex without dying and scream.
Yes, and it was very self-aware, right? Was there fourth wall breaking in it?
Not that I remember.
Okay, I can't remember if there was fourth wall in that or not. I'm thinking of. Oh no, I'm thinking of
Scary movie.
well, possibly. But honestly, I don't know that I watched any of those.
I've seen most of them, and then all the other spin-offs that aren't horror based.
Yeah, all the
had adventure movie and
the sight gag movies and stuff like that. So got the trailer for that. My memory feels. Sanjigo says my memory feels like number 3 cranked up the hot chick quota. I guess I need to just go back and watch them again. It's been a very long time since I've seen the first.
All of those slasher sequels start to blur together.
One thing I do remember Rose McGowan's character. She was the redhead, and I remember the scene where like he traps her in the garage, and I mean she is just like going to town with him with beer bottles. Like you're like she's gonna kick it, and then she ends up getting like she ungloriously like smashed by the garage door.
Yeah.
Like what garage door ever had that much power?
That's why we have to have the safety sensors.
Maybe it's because of Scream, because you sneeze on mine and it goes right back up.
Yeah.
So they're
growing up, we had cats, and they'd run in when you're trying to get the door down. You're like,
you jerk. Yeah. No, but I mean, you do like the when you set an opener, you do the paper towel. You put a roll of paper towels in it, and you balance the impact to where it doesn't, the paper towel, it hits the paper towel and brings it back up, but doesn't like crush it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even sensors aside, like nobody's gonna get killed by a garage door anymore. Maybe back in like the heavy garage door days.
I mean, we even had a decently heavy garage door at our old house, and it wasn't that heavy.
Yeah, but and then she was total badass, just chucking bottles at him like freaking Hawkeye, for that matter. And then she just dies that way. That's just a shame. Maybe that was the trope they broke, was the badass getting it in the end.
There you
go. So we also got a new teaser trailer for Hawkeye. I haven't had the entire scene was just to show that the temps dipped. I know what you're going for there. Dirty. The Hawkeye teaser trailer, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I saw it in my feed while I was working today.
You get a much more feel of the story.
Okay.
And it addresses the run. Like he shows up and all these Russian mobsters get out of this car, and it's funny. You get to see a little bit of what the story is going on. I guess has the kids on like a vacation to New York.
Right, without the mom, which is the weirdest thing. Probably because they couldn't secure her to shoot the TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you that's why.
But yeah, so he's on vacation with the kids and gets involved with mob stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess because Kate Bishop is out there parading as him.
I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't address that, but there's a really funny scene where he is at like a Ren fair or something where they're all, cosplaying, and he's in like samurai getup, smacking people with a foam sword.
Be hilarious if he participates in like the archery contest.
Yeah,
at the Ren fair.
That's cheating. You're Hawkeye. You can't participate.
He's freaking Hawkeye. And then, so I was reading an article as we were getting ready for the show, and this is Tom Holland had done an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and in this interview, the interviewer asked, "Hey, your contract with Sony and Marvel is up after this film. What do you see future wise?" And to kind of sum up the quote, he pretty much said, "Well, we shot this like it's the finale, mm-hmm. right? Like this is the end of the Homecoming finale." He doesn't know of any plans going forward, but he pretty much leaves it like if we were to continue the Spider-Man franchise, tonally, it's going to be very different. So that's pretty exciting because then that means something very drastic is going to happen at the end of No Way Home, which the title's right there, No Way Home, right?
Yeah.
We're never getting back to where he was, right?
But I have a guess.
Yeah.
So I think, there's all the rumors of the other two Spider-Man actors being in the movie.
Right.
There's even last week there was a leaked marketing campaign in Russia that had an image of Andrew Garfield in his Spider-Man suit on a billboard and the ad said, "Will you be joining us on December 17th?" Something like to that.
Interesting.
So Who knows?
Okay.
But my guess is that one of the older actors is going to take it over
Okay.
because that is how we need to get Miles in the MCU.
Right.
And we have to have the appropriate age gap between Pete and Miles.
I think at this point, though, they could possibly, if you did a time jump with Tom Holland, Peter Parker, I mean, he's in his mid-20s now. He's not a high schooler, right? I think you kind of just change his look a little bit. I don't know, give him some facial hair or whatever.
Possibly.
You could essentially do the time jump with him and make him the older Peter Parker, right?
Possibly.
And then bring in somebody fresh.
I
to
do
be
like
Miles.
the sound of having a different feel to it.
Yeah.
Because especially if we do get a Miles in the TV, Pete's going to have to be the mentor, not the mentee.
Yeah, but I think he could take it a different direction where he's not the wide-eyed teenager. He's a little more beat down by the responsibility, right?
Right.
Time has progressed. He's been Spider-Man for a while, and now he's got the struggles, right? That the Tobey Maguire struggles. I think he could do it, but yeah, they could definitely bring it. The problem is Tobey Maguire, I think, is way too old now. I say that he's like only a couple years older than I am, but.
Andrew Garfield, I would say, would be the logical choice if you were going to go with one of the other two.
Yeah.
Or just entirely cast a new Peter Parker.
That's the thing is, it's Marvel kind of didn't go with Garfield to start with, right?
It's not that Marvel didn't go with him. Garfield and Sony got into a tiff before.
Oh, that's true. I forgot
before
about that.
he got to his third movie.
Yeah. That's right.
Because he was supposed to get a trilogy also, and then they broke up.
Oh. So, yeah. So it was just funny how and it's also Tom Holland, so he likes to things. And he kind of, but I say all of that to say is, it's definitely in the title, No Way Home, and nothing will be the same
right
after all this. Which, God, it's only like 2 months away.
You do have to expect that for them to do something with Spider-Man.
Oh, they have.
He's their most popular character, so it's not like he's just going to go away.
Yeah, and they've already pretty much, they tied Venom back into him. Mm-hmm. They have to keep pulling down that string, right? And we still have Morbius that we haven't seen yet or gotten any information on what's happening. I don't think we even have a date for it now.
No.
At all.
Not that I know
Morbius is just sitting out there with the trailer.
It's hanging out with Batman, or whatever it's called.
Well, supposedly, because it was the DC fan show is this week?
I think it's this weekend.
This weekend?
I think.
So maybe we'll get an actual full trailer and date then for the Batman. Because, again,
it's totally different.
Yeah, you put a the in there. We're good to go. So staying in Marvel World, this week the new Guardians of the Galaxy video game launched. Very much in the style, made by Square Enix, very much in the style of Marvel's Avengers, much more of a linear narrative story. I don't know what really, I haven't looked in the gameplay aspects of it, but I haven't seen any reviews on it yet. I did like Marvel's Avengers. We played it on stream here last week, and it's a fun game. I'm kind of bouncing around different games right now, so I'm not really just like whole into it. But I'm gonna kind of wait and see on this one. I don't know.
I like the characters. It had a ton of costumes in it. I mean, they showed probably 5 Star-Lord costumes just in the trailer.
Yeah. That's all you play is Star-Lord. I don't think you may bounce around the other characters.
I think you do a little bit. It looked like it. Just watch the trailer. The others were pretty heavily featured.
I'd like to see them, and maybe Guardians of the Galaxy does take on kind of that same gameplay loop as Marvel's Avengers, that live service game. I'd like to really see them do that with the X-Men franchise.
Yeah.
That would make me really happy. Slim Dusky just got downloaded Back for Blood. I got it as well. It's on Game Pass, so I picked it up this week, which I played the beta a little bit and really enjoyed it. So I'm trying to convince Tanner to buy it on his PlayStation and play it, because you can play crossplay, so I can have my PC, and we may play that on stream tomorrow. We don't know. Anything's possible. So, yeah, Back for Blood is it's good. If you liked Left 4 Dead, that was good. And if you like it's like
zombies.
Fast zombies.
Fast zombies are scary.
Fast zombies and weird gigantic mutated zombies that do different things. It's pretty cool. And with AI that's basically trying to kill you. Long story. I'll explain it later. Anyway, so staying in Guardians of the Galaxy, we also got news this week that Adam Poulter, another English actor playing Marvel characters. It's like, where are the American actors? I'm joking. There's plenty. So Will Poulter is going to be playing Adam Warlock in Guardians 3, which is funny because I'm pretty sure Tim Gunn said after they teased Warlock at the end of 2 that he was not going to be in 3. That he was for like later in the franchise.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I vaguely remember him saying that. Yeah, Slam, we could actually, if you're down, we could possibly get a 3-player. You can have a party of 4 in Back 4 Blood. Anyway, so yeah, Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. Curious to see really what his role is going to be because he was very dominant in the original Infinity Gauntlet series.
That's kind of over with.
And that's kind of over with, right? Gunn wasn't going to be in 3. That's true. But before he got fired, he had mentioned something about Warlock being 3. And maybe him leaving and coming back changed the plan, right?
Yeah.
And maybe all the other extenuating stuff that happened in the MCU, he decided to go ahead and bring that character in earlier than later. And it may be like a very end of the movie thing, too, right? They just announced the casting because it got released or whatever. But he's definitely a younger character. Not really what you see in Adam Warlock when he's unveiled in the Marvel Comics in the 70s, which he's kind of like an android type character, a creation, which he is in this, a creation of the Sovereign. So, and Will Poulter, he kind of has a range. He's been in comedies, but he's been in dramas. He was in that one Black Mirror episode that was the interactive video game.
I didn't watch much of Black Mirror.
Yeah, Bandersnatch, I think was the episode.
Okay.
He was in that. I'm trying to think what else I've seen him in. He was in the We Are the Millers. That's where most people know him from.
The meme's been going around today for him with We Are the Millers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's on our Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Was he in Revenant? I have not watched that, actually. That's the Leonardo DiCaprio.
I haven't seen it either.
Watching scenes of that movie just makes me cold.
Yeah.
And it looks very intense. I don't know if I can handle it. Revenant, yeah. He was in Revenant. I do remember that now. So, yeah, I'm curious to see where Gunn takes that character. I mean, my gut tells me some comedic avenue.
Well, it's Guardians.
It's Guardians. It's James Gunn. But never really a comedic character in the comics, right? Mm-hmm. But Star-Lord never really was either.
Yeah.
Like, that Gunn just kind of took it, and now he is.
Yeah.
You know? He's kind of the epitome of, that. So yeah, there's that. To kind of wrap up news and current events, I labeled this in our rundown. I shat in space. So William Shatner, Captain Kirk, got to go to space this week because of a very charitable billionaire. And I don't know how I feel about it. I think at one point I think it's cool. It just kind of I'm surprised he survived.
That's a lot of G-force for he's in his 90s.
Exactly. Who knows what G-forces are going to do to a 90-year-old body? He survived. He's back. At least you think. Or it could be some alien pod. We don't know.
He's a reptile now.
He got back to Earth, called it a profound experience. Cool. And that everybody should be able to do it.
Everybody's not billionaires. So.
Exactly. I mean, that'd be great, but realistically, no, that's not going to happen. Costs too much to send somebody to space. So, good job, Shat. You got to go to space. I was reading an article. Apparently, George Takei and William Shatner have never gotten along. Mm-hmm. Like, even on set during the 60s, they just never got along, and they take jabs at each other. And George Takei, in one article, quoted boldly going where others have gone before. And then commenting that he was he was comped. Bezos invited him on that flight. He did not pay a dime. He was Bezos's guest on that flight with the 3 other, I guess, professionals that were on there. But anyway, what was he? He was saying something about he was a good specimen to see to send into space because to see what the effects of going into space does to like an unfit 90-year-old body, which is true.
It was for science.
Yeah, it was for science. So he made it back. He ain't deed. So there you go. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to start talking about our discussion topic for tonight. So just to get y'all prepared, it is what makes, in your opinion, what makes a good sci-fi or fantasy franchise, and what makes it compelling, what makes you kind of come back to it and just want to want to engage in all of it. And then what are some sci-fi fantasy franchise that you'd like to see expanded on or like recontinued or rebooted or whatever, sci-fi fantasy franchises that really aren't, they're not like Star Wars or Marvel or whatever, where they're constantly,
those are going to go no matter what.
Yeah, those are going. What are some of the other kind of franchises that you want to see expanded on? So we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll talk more about that. We'll see you in just a second. All right, we are back. Thank you for sticking with us. So moving on to our discussion topic, sci-fi and fantasy franchises. What makes a good one? What compels you to come back to them? So Tanner, what are your thoughts?
Okay. So the obvious thing I'm just going to point out and set it to the side because it just applies to any story, and that's good characters.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with how good the universe is. That just drives the main narrative.
Right.
So what I really like to see are how many characters are there that aren't characters, like historical figures.
Okay.
Is there a history that I can dive into? Languages. I mean, how much effort that they put into it to make this seem like a real world.
So like Tolkien,
like
Klingon, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's what drives my interest in it is diving into the world itself, not the story.
Okay.
Because the story,
but you still have to have the good stories to kind of get you jumped on.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the story that is there for entertainment. The world is there to drive my nerd obsession.
to feed my geek. So I would agree. For me, I like. It's weird to say. I don't know if this comes from OCD. I get very attracted to worlds. Like if we're talking about world building, when there is a lot of color to it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bright, but it's color, and I can recognize patterns. So I like settings where there's factions, right?
I like that too.
And the different factions are
these are the blue guys, these are the red guys.
I don't know what it is about that, but I get attracted to that. So one of my favorite kind of franchises that not a ton of people know about. I mean, there were some video games about it and some tabletop games. It's called Crimson Skies. Mm-hmm. And it was made by a company called FASA. They ended up making BattleTech, MechWarrior, Shadowrun is a franchise that they created. And I liked it. I love alternate history. That for me, a franchise like alternate history franchises. Since you guys, Brandon thinks Tanner's talking about Tolkien, really is about Total Recall's characters. What the hell? Anywho, okay. But anyway, so I definitely like alternate history. I like, I guess the what if, right? What if this happened? This would take place. And Crimson Skies was kind of that universe. It was, what if because of the Depression and the, Prohibition and stuff like that, what if the United States just broke apart? Mm-hmm. Like it couldn't handle it. So, transcontinental railroad goes away. The interstate system goes away. So everything takes to the skies, right?
Right.
And you have piracy comes back. So you have air pirates, and it's this very pulp kind of Indiana Jonesy, swashbuckling kind of world, and they made, those that have played like Crimson Skies on Xbox or PC or whatever. No, it's very unique. The planes are very kind of, they call it diesel punk.
Right.
Very out, kind of just cheating science a little bit on how it would all work.
It's an aesthetic more than it is.
Lots of Zeppelins and stuff like that. But, you just have these larger than life characters. I loved that, what attracted me more than anything was this thought of like a balkanized United States. So there was the nation of Hollywood, which was California, and then there's the Republic of Texas, and then the Empire State, which was New York, which, like, if they made that today, that may hit, because there was also the Confederation of Dixie. That may hit a little different, today.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty much the southern states were back together as kind of a new confederacy. Some people really kind of crap on that.
It's fiction.
It's fiction, and the Midwest becomes like the industrial states of America. And like Kansas becomes like a communist Christian nation. It is like, they thought of some really weird, cool stuff. And just how like everybody freaking hates Texas, which really like rings true right now.
The middle of the country, and everybody in Kansas just starts calling each other comrade.
Yeah, it was interesting that I liked seeing that, and seeing kind of how that conflict would play, right? I liked that about the original BattleTech. You had these houses that were fighting each other. Dune is that way. That I like factionalization in a universe. Star Wars is still one of my favorite, and it's really just the two factions, right?
To a degree, but you still have all the different gangs. The Hutts,
you do.
and the what is the one in Solo that?
Oh, like the not the Red Sun.
It is Red Sun, isn't it?
No. The Syndicate that Kira's a part of?
Yeah.
No, Black Sun was
Black
one.
Sun.
That was Shizor from Shadows of the Empire. Trying to think, the Red something or another. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, if you get into
Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
Crimson Dawn. Sorry. So yes, there are those, but that was kind of later. That wasn't while I was getting in it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a Star Wars fan just because it was just in my face for most of my life. I'm a Marvel fan because it was there most of my life. Other franchises I gravitated towards, definitely had that. I like worlds that have, they go back and they build a timeline, right?
Timelines are good.
And so you have this history of everything that led up.
Basically, if you could have a wiki about the world itself, it's a good one.
Yeah. And not everybody's into that. You still have to have good stories inside of it. You still have to have good characters. I don't know that so going back to Crimson Skies, it somewhat had that. You had your protagonist that kind of you followed through the video games and stuff like that, and then you had like short stories. They never really got to build it because by the time it kind of really started going, a lot of weird stuff had happened with FASA, and then it got moved to Microsoft, and they did some stuff with it, and it just kind of fizzled after that. So to move on to our next point, what are some franchises you'd like to see expanded on? That is definitely one of them. I thought it was great. I'd love to see them, go into other media, because they did some really cool stuff. They actually, like, if you open the rule book of the tabletop game, like, they had people dressed in costume, and they took like old style news photographs of them.
Yeah.
And then they, like, you played the video games and you had like, radio news.
Yeah.
And the guy that was delivering the news, and had that voice. Just really cool stuff that built that world and made it fleshed out. I'd love to see that in a live action series or something like that. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do. But yeah, that's one I can think of off the top of my head. What's one that you want to see?
My number one is War Machine.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird because technically the game still exists and is active, but they've killed their entire fluff writing division. There's no novels, nothing right now, and it has all this stuff. It's got the factions, it's got the history of the world, and then it's got the characters too.
Yeah,
it's got some really good characters. The world is.
It's a very character-driven game.
It is.
So you have to have that.
Yeah. And it's very much I mean, it's a fantasy world.
Steampunkish.
It's very steampunkish.
Yeah.
With lots of magic and robots and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm very heavily invested in it. I've read everything until they shut it down.
I think one of the cool things that I liked about that world was, you had an entire nation that was gone. Like when you're dropped in the game, there's an entire nation that you can't technically play as a faction because they don't exist.
You can work through mercenaries.
But like you had this whole nation of essentially refugees. Right.
And so another reason that I like the game, the whole setting, is it very much parallels the real world.
Yeah.
So Signar is England.
Yeah.
The non-nation is France.
Yep.
And then we have they're aesthetically they're Russians, Kador, but story-wise they're Nazis.
Yeah. They're more German, Germanic or German Empire. I think they kind of mirror World War I Germany more than they do probably Nazi Germany. A little bit. Yeah. Maybe. That Prussian Empire.
They do.
Yeah.
They just happen to be occupying a full nation as opposed to just fighting in there.
So what is Minoth?
Minoth is the Catholic Church.
Just the church as a whole? It's not Islam?
I think it's the Catholics.
Okay.
Just because, just looking at the aesthetic, it's hardcore Catholics back during
so it'd be like more the Holy Roman Empire, kind of a thing. Yeah, I could see that.
And they're at odds because they were once part of Signar. They broke up when Signar decided to be Protestant.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Protestant Morrowind, Not yeah, no, I get that. What is Crix?
Zombies.
They're zombies. Then you have all the hordes.
All the hordes, the hordes is still good, but they don't follow those tropes.
Like Scorn is almost kind of Asian, and it's
very Persian.
Yeah,
in particular,
Middle Eastern and Indian, and kind of that aesthetic. Yeah, and of course, then there's like the Warhammer Old World where everything had a European analog, unabashedly.
Which I also love Warhammer Old World. The Sigmar stuff, the fluff for Sigmar is just not up to snuff. No. It's not near as good.
But and a lot of that is because Old World was so rooted in what we already knew historically, right?
But there's a chance that they're going to go back to Old World with the release of the Forge World game. What they originally announced is they're going to do a Horus Heresy style story and rewrite the end times.
Oh.
Because the Horus Heresy is up to like novel 56.
That's crazy.
So
it's a lot of books.
Yeah. The plan is to take what was the end times, which was I think 6 books.
Yes.
And flesh the story out. Because there's a lot of weird character developments that I could see the characters doing it in the long run, like basically how Teclis kind of turned on everybody, even Tyrion.
Yeah.
And Tyrion took up to fight against him, and then Malekith kind of just all the elves decided Malekith was okay once.
Yeah, like Tyrion and Teclis kind of lost their minds. We're gonna go hang out with this guy that we've hated for generations.
Yeah, so that was a real abrupt, but I think if they flesh it out, they can make it make sense why it happened that way.
I can see that. Yeah. So yeah, that's 2 of our franchises. What are your thoughts? What compels you to kind of follow a franchise like that? And what franchises are you wanting to see? Leave it in the comments. Let us know. Have a discussion there on YouTube or like I said, just let us know what you think. So
speaking of YouTube, we hit the 2,000 subscriber mark. So yeah, we're
awesome.
Let all your people know because we're 500 subscribers away from giving away a graded slab.
Yeah, that's been sitting back there for I don't know how long. We've been itching to give that one away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get to 2,500. We've got some good stuff to give away. Well, so yeah, just be kind of watching Twitch tomorrow. Where Tanner and I are going live with Magic Live at 4 p.m. and hopefully we'll break some boxes. If not, we'll hang out and play stuff and have a good time. And then Mondays we're doing Inktober.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's going to happen to Mondays after? We don't quite know yet.
We'll do something.
We'll do something.
If anything, I'll bring the PlayStation up here and I'll play.
There you go. Tuesdays is our hobby hangout, and you've been busting out Stormcast on it.
Yeah, I got the whole store set for Stormcast finished. So if you want to come learn Age of Sigmar, we now have an army you can play with. Been busting through terrain.
Nice. And then Wednesdays, of course, our comic chat that then also gets posted on our YouTube as well. And then, on our YouTube, be looking for our final order cutoff videos. That'll tell you the top 10 books that you need to go ahead and get pre-ordered. And Sarah helps walk us through that every week. And then, of course, on Thursdays here at the podcast. So if you are listening on your favorite podcast app or watching on YouTube, if you want to join us live, you can. 7 p.m. every Thursday with an asterisk right here on Twitch. So, Twitch TV /Unknown Comic Books if you're listening to us recorded. And check us out. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a good time. We hope you did too. And we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.